good evening, everyone, and welcome to the March 17th edition of the regular City Council meeting. And I guess we should say happy St. Patrick's Day. And before we begin, there seems to be a lot of people on this side. Now, are you going to give me trouble over here? You don't want to move some of you? You're going to be okay? All right. Thank you. Would you call the roll, please?
Certainly. Good evening, everyone. Councilmember Dennehy.
Timmy.
Councilmember Maloney.
Here.
Councilmember Schmischer.
Here.
Councilmember Stein. Councilmember Tracy.
Here.
Councilmember Worthington.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamrick.
Here.
Mayor Troutman.
Here.
Sorry.
So, okay, sorry. Would you please rise and have Bradley Buck of the Bridge to Life Assembly of God Church for the invocation?
Father in heaven, thank you for the privilege of coming to you in the name of Christ. We are grateful for the mercy and grace that you offer us. And tonight I ask your favor on these folks who lead and serve us. May they have not only human insight, but the wisdom that you give to lead us well. May your will be done for Canyon City. You are a good God and you have good plans for us. So I ask you to have your way here tonight. Amen.
Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have citizens' request to speak to council, and we have Kathy Smith. Would you like to come forward and come to the podium? You're here to talk on behalf of the Valley-wide Healthcare?
Yes.
Do I have that right?
Yes.
Okay.
My name is Kathy Smith, and I'm the outreach specialist for Valley-wide Health here in Canyon City and in Buena Vista. And I appreciate the opportunity to introduce myself and be with you guys here tonight. At Valley-wide, we are dedicated to serving this community by keeping you all informed about our services and any updates that we may have. We also value your input, and if there are specific needs that we can help address, we want to hear from you and hear what those needs are. Right now, we have one dentist, one dental hygienist, one MD. He is currently out on an injury, and so we have a locum who has come in from Alamosa, who is here for the months of March and April to help out. And then we're also getting, in April, we're getting a new nurse practitioner, and her name is June Griffin, and so we're really excited to have her coming. And then we also have one behavioral health specialist, so she's there to help. And we are open Monday through Fridays, 7 to 6 here in Canyon City. And if anybody has any questions or concerns that you'd like to talk to me about, I'm happy to do that. Thank you.
I would just have a question for the people that are watching. You are located in down, go ahead.
Yeah,
What's your address?
We are located at 121 North 6th Street, right downtown Canyon City, so in that big bank building. And you come in on the side of the 6th Street, so.
So you could park in the back as well?
Yeah, you can park in the back.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Any questions of council?
Anybody else?
Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Now, I'd invite any city council members for any comments. Emily.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple of
things. I did want to mention that the Lincoln Park Cotter Superfund Site Community Advisory Group meets tomorrow, Tuesday, March 18, at 3 p.m. in classroom 147 at the PCC Fremont campus. You can also participate by Zoom. It's a hybrid meeting, so just email me if you need the link and don't find it on social media or elsewhere. I also wanted to mention that I'm concerned to see that the city's sales tax revenues are down significantly when compared to budgeted amounts and when compared to the same month a year ago. There's a lack of consumer confidence because of impacts on the stock market and other things related to what's going on at the federal level, and also seeing increasing prices, I think, in some cases for goods and services. The market disruptions, of course, affect not only city revenue, but the well-being of all of our residents. I'm not asking folks to spend more. I think those are individual decisions. However, if you want your local and state governments to continue to serve you in the way you expect for the taxes you pay, you need to speak up and help fix what is happening at our federal level. And I do appreciate the fact that we are a diverse community with a variety of political views, but it's something that's having an impact at the local level. That's all I have.
Thank you, Emily. Anyone else? I see no lights on. Well, then, at this time, the exciting part of the evening, we invite our Human Resource Director, I should say, Butch Batchelor, to come on down.
I wear many hats, so director, manager, either one of them is fine.
Okay.
So it's that exciting time of the month again where we get to recognize our employees who are dedicated civil servants. But before I do that, I should do my greetings. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, and other distinguished participants at the dais. We have 3 individuals who are being recognized this evening. Unfortunately, one of those individuals couldn't be here with us. The first person is Dana Whitney. Dana was hired on March 16, 2020 as the senior purchasing agent for the city of Canyon City, a position she still holds. And then next we have Rick Harmon. Rick, if you could join me up here. Rick, if you could join me up here. I can wait. Rick was hired on March 30th, 2020 as the Economic Development Manager for the City of Canyon City, a position he currently holds. And as is our custom, we always give his department director or his boss an opportunity to say a few words, and at this time, I will do that.
All right. I think everybody knows Rick. Rick's done a lot of presentations here in front of City Council, but I want to recognize the time that Rick came in was right at the hit of COVID. We were talking about shutdowns. Or actually, when he was hired, we were already shut down. And I think entering the economic development field at that point is probably the hardest point at any time you could have chosen, Rick, to enter economic development. But we appreciate your perseverance and continuing through with all of that. And you probably deserve an honorary psychology degree for everything that you've done from an economic development standpoint. So thank you very much, and continue to see good work out of you.
Don't go too far. All right. And although 5 years of civil service is impressive, we have Kendra McFall, who is celebrating 25 years of dedicated service to the city. Kendra was hired on March 10th, 2000 as a temporary part-time library clerk. Evidently, she decided she liked it. On July 5th, 2000, she was made a full-time library clerk. Then on January 24th, 2002, the title of her position was changed to library technician. On October 2nd, 2003, Kendra was promoted to assistant reference librarian. And then on January 1st, 2007, she was promoted to assistant librarian, public service. On December 6, 2014, she was promoted to deputy library director. And on November 25th, 2024, Kendra was selected to fill the library director position. And again, Kendra, if you could come up. And it's okay if you guys are here for and you want to clap. and I know Ryan has a few words.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Kendra, we appreciate 25 years of dedicated service and hopefully many more in front of you. Kendra's been part of the leadership team at the library for a long time and stepped into some very big shoes to fill with Suzanne's passing. But we continue to see great things out of our library, and we appreciate all of your dedication. Just as an indication of how well respected our library is, whenever we have an opening, our last opening was for a part-time librarian. I think we received 90 applications for that part-time position. And I think that that's a testament to the leadership that we have at the library and the great things that you are doing and your team's doing. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Now,
Thank you.
as also has become our custom, if I could get council members to step
Yes,
down in front
let's
of the
do that.
dais and our employees to step over there with them, we'll get a picture. Just take the picture of them. Sir? Go. We got to wait till they get done doing the glad handing. Thank you.
Thank you, Butch. That's always exciting. Good time of month, and thanks to the people that work for the city that take such good care of us day and night. And that is really appreciated. So, at this time, let's move on to the consent agenda. Would you like to cover that, Ryan?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of council, item 8A is to approve the minutes for the regular city council meeting on March 3rd, the special meeting on February 21st, special meeting on February 25th, and a special meeting on February 26th, and executive sessions on March 3rd and March 5th. 8B accepts the resignation on the art committee. 8C authorizes the city administrator to sign a memorandum of agreement with the state of Colorado for a right-of-way acquisition at First and Main in an amount not to exceed $2,500. 8D authorizes the city administrator to sign a professional services agreement with Graves Consulting in an amount not to exceed $36,460. 8E ratifies the US 50 pedestrian crossing repairs proposal and payment. 8F awards bid 14-25 for Kawasaki Mule 4010 UTV to SoCo Power Sports LLC of Pueblo, Colorado in an amount not to exceed $14,005.80. 8G retracts the award for Ferguson and awards bid 26-25 water meters to Core and Main in an amount not to exceed $100,000. 8H, receive and file the monthly budget summary for January. 8I is to receive and file cash disbursements.
Thank you, Ryan. At this time, are there any additions or questions or corrections for the consent agenda? All right. Emily?
Thank you. I had just a couple of brief questions on 8D and, let me see, 8E. I think there had been some questions kind of behind the scenes about 8D being a personal services agreement, whether it needed to be a sole source kind of agreement. It's a company we've worked with before, but so maybe if the city administrator can just address that briefly so the public will know how
Sure.
that decision-making goes, and then I can, after that, say what my other question is.
Yep. So it's a professional services agreement. Professional services agreements do not need to be bid competitively. We typically would go out and get multiple quotes for a professional services agreement. In this particular case, because we have worked with Graves Consulting in the past and we're asking for a refresh of their previous work, we're treating it as a sole source and asking them to come in and complete work. We think that's in the best interest of the city Bringing in a different provider creates a lot of variables, and kind of starting from scratch based off of the methodology that we're already working under.
And this is in regard to looking, taking the kind of the final, well, not final, but another step of a look at the city's job descriptions, pay grades, how they fit into the marketplace or don't, things like that. So
That is correct.
it's
yes.
a real important thing that the city can get done. My question on E was just whether that was in regard to crossing repairs, and if we can just hear a little bit more about, were these just typical automobile accidents that caused those damages, or what kind of accidents happened?
I don't know that I have the details on the exact accidents. Leo, do you know what the accidents were?
Yep, they were both vehicular accidents. The first one occurred at Big Daddy's. It was I can't remember the name, but it was the company that plows their lot during a snowplow event. Backed their plow up in the parking lot, and their plow overhung the sidewalk and knocked one down. The other one was, I believe, a stolen vehicle or a drunk driver hit and run accident on one of the posts.
Okay, so there wasn't anything about the design of the equipment that lent themselves to be more involved in an accident?
No.
It's driver error, okay. That's all I had.
Thank you, Emily. Any other questions or discussions on that? If seeing, hearing none, I would then entertain a motion and a second. Who would like to do that? John, go ahead.
I'll give it a try. Mayor and council, I move that we approve the consent agenda and agenda as presented.
Second.
Second, Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. Any discussion on that motion? I see Tim's on board. Okay, then I'd ask for a roll call.
Okay, Councilmember Dennehy?
Aye.
Maloney?
Aye.
Schmisher?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Worthington?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Hemrick?
Aye.
Thank you all. And the long-awaited and much sought-after, I say that every time, City Administrator's Report, if you have one.
You have the written reports in the packets. There are a couple of other items that I'd like to cover that aren't in the report. Today we started the Canyon Proud cleanup vouchers. That started today. We have 250 of those available. The vouchers can be picked up and used up until April 30th. It's while supplies last, so we only have 250. It's my understanding that the county is also doing vouchers. The county voucher system, that starts on April 7th. Is that correct, Denise?
Yes.
And then I think we still have Travis here. One of the things when we met a couple of meetings ago regarding water rates, we received some direction about phasing in those water rates. We've got some pricing for that additional work from the consultants. It's an additional $5,500 to do that amendment and build out that 3-year phased rate plan. So I wanted to bring that to council's attention. We can send out some more details, but wanted to at least bring it up here and let you know that there are some additional costs for that work.
So that work has not been done yet, but we would have to approve it for it to be done.
If you want to go and look at a phased approach for that option, then yes, there would be some additional work that would need to be done, and we would have to contract with Reftelis to do that additional work.
Okay, Amy, go ahead.
Could you, or perhaps Superintendent Payne, say a bit more about that? Why wouldn't it be as simple as dividing by 3 and moving forward? What work would need to be done to justify the $5,500 in ask? Thanks.
So the way I understand it is it's not quite as simple as dividing it by 3, in that they need to do a little bit of cost analysis on the best way to phase that in, what percentage should be kind of front-loaded or not. And so they just need to do some additional calculations on it, is my understanding on it.
Ask it, go ahead.
Sorry, I guess to phase what in?
So this would be phasing in the cost of service. So phasing in what the rates look like over the 3-year time period.
Okay. Do we
Yeah.
have a projected number of hours that they expect this would take them, or
If I remember right, it was
What's the
20 or something like that.
basis
Yeah.
behind the 5,500?
I think it was 20-ish. I can certainly send out the scope of services to
Yeah,
everybody.
that'd be great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no problem.
Any other questions from Travis? Okay, thank you, Travis.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions of administrator or comments? I would like to, I'd like to make a comment only because he thinks he's getting away with coming to our meeting and not being introduced. So I would think that we have a county commissioner sitting there that is quite, I can see you under your hat. And so, but welcome for coming. And if you wish to take notes on how we conduct things, we're okay with that. Just kidding. Dwayne McFall, Commissioner, thank you. Thanks for coming. Amy?
Thanks. I have a couple of questions for City Administrator
Yep, go
Stevens. Could you give us an update on the Rhodes Avenue project, when East Main will finally be back open, and kind of what the projected timeline might look like for those who are impacted by that project? Thanks.
Yeah, Leo, I don't know if you have any recent updates, if you want to come up. We know that Atmos and Miller Construction, or Miller Pipeline, they're working on getting out of the right-of-way now. I know they still have some cleanup work to do. We still, there is still a damaged water line that needs to be repaired, and we're working on mobilizing that crew through Avalanche Excavating. Leo, any other details you want to add on timing or anything like that?
No, I think you covered it. I hadn't made it out there yet today. I believe Miller Pipeline is done. They've kind of abandoned the site. Their third attempt failed, as did the first two, so they're stepping back and going to come with a different proposal than what they've tried the first 3 times. We're meeting with our contractor tomorrow to go over the water main repairs and finalize a timeline for that. They've tentatively told us, depending on how long it takes us to find where the leak is, it could be up to 2 weeks to do that work. It could be as short as 2 days if they find it in the first place they're going to look for it.
Do you have a sense of how much of the street would have to be closed for the water line repair?
It'll be
location and
similar to
fund?
what's closed right now. Shouldn't restrict any of the business accesses other than the Rhodes Avenue intersection.
Okay. So the Humane Society?
Humane Society, yes, would be the one though.
Okay. And then with regard to the longer-term timeline of when Atmos may come back, are we looking at potentially after the next ditch season is over?
Depends on what their design is. If they have a design that can be done without, it's not going to be impacted by the ditch water, then they, I believe they'll come back sooner. And Leo, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think they would prefer to do it sooner. Their lower demand season is in the summer for natural gas. It's easier for them to shut down as long as they can handle the water. We've indicated to them that we very much want it completed by November so that we can finish our portion of the project.
Have we also been able to communicate to them that we would prefer to not see such a large chunk of the road shut down again with future design?
We have.
Inspection
Leo's had that
requirements.
conversation with their construction crews. I've had that conversation with their government relations person. I think we've hit them on all fronts on that. It's going to depend on what their design is.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I have a question on one other
Yeah,
topic.
go right ahead.
Thank you. So during the conversations last year with the downtown merchants regarding the feather flags, the city had committed to prioritizing downtown kiosks and banners in the first quarter of 2025. Given that we are in our last meeting of the first quarter of 2025, if we could get an update on where those 2 action items are and what the timeline of getting them implemented will be, that would be much appreciated.
Yeah, the banners are on a shorter timeline. The Public Art Committee is meeting on the design of banners tomorrow, I believe. Yeah.
That's correct.
And then the kiosks are a little bit more challenging. Some of the pricing didn't come in as favorably as we'd like, and working on some designs for the I guess they're mall directories, or what we're going to call them. Rick, you have anything else you want to add?
No, that pretty much covers it. The challenge we have is that we'd like to have something that If you're going to spend a lot of money on it, have something that can be interactive and help our people in our community understand what's going on and we can communicate with them. Those solutions are turning out to be very expensive on the software side. So we're trying other methods. I've got a conversation tomorrow actually with a software design company that possibly could provide it if we were to create our own hardware for it, kind of a thing. So that's taken into consideration. Trying to work possibly in the existing wayfinding signage design that we have, something similar to that is also a consideration. Unfortunately, we're looking at probably midsummer at best, I would think, for design, and then hopefully fall for installation. It kind of really depends on how interactive we want these to be and how bare bones and manually changed out we want these to be.
Is that midsummer for design and fall for installation projected timeline for both the banners and the kiosks?
The banners, I would say, will be prior, potentially, hopefully prior to Blossom.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful.
That's what we're shooting for, prior to Blossom.
Joe, go ahead.
Are we saying our kiosks are going to be electronic, like touchscreen kind of things?
Then, well, potentially. I mean, we were looking at that. There was one style we looked at a couple of years ago that was a little more like a Kindle kind of a screen. We looked at one last year that was touchscreen interactive, but you could just do display as well, digital display as well. There's a lot of different options out there, but exploring the options takes time and really kind of getting what you want and protecting it so it's not destroyed by population.
I wasn't aware we were doing that because there's so many problems with those things. But if we come up with a good plan, I'm all for it.
Mhm.
But I hate to see things like that. They last a year and then all of a sudden they're just a block on the street. That's
Yeah, and
inoperable.
that's probably why, to some extent, one of the vendors we went to cost so much to do because they build them on a more industrial basis used for these types of environments. And they're considering the sun, the brightness of the sun, the heat, the reflectivity of it. There's just way more that went into this conversation than I ever expected to, and obviously added to the cost.
Is just doing your just static wayfinding signs that you see in other towns, directional signs, is that still on the table as an option?
It is.
Yeah, with our existing wayfinding design, that probably makes the most sense.
Okay, thanks.
So, yeah.
Any other questions of Rick? Thank you. Any other questions of the administrator? Okay, well, let's move on to the discussion. This is a second reading and adoption by title only of Ordinance 1, Series 2025, entitled, An Ordinance of the City of Canyon City Approving an Amendment to the 4 Mile Ranch Planned Development District. Could we have a review from staff or from
Yes,
administrator?
sir. Patrick, I'm going to ask you to come on up. While he's coming up, this is the second reading for the 4 Mile rezoning of or PDD amendment. In your packets, we included a crosswalk of what the different development phases are and what those requirements are at different phases. Patrick, do you have any updates? Have we had any additional public comments or questions?
We have not received any additional public comments since the first reading took place on the 3rd.
And we do have Jonathan Sims here representing the landowner, and there were many amendments that were made to the development guide, and you also provided the red line version of that guide this afternoon as well.
Any questions from council? Go ahead, Emily.
Yeah, I just wanted to hear from staff, Patrick, our city administrator, whoever. When we considered this item on first reading in early March, the recommendation, as I understood it from staff, from the planning department, was to include a couple of conditions in that motion. We did not do that, so I'd like to kind of revisit that to find out from staff's perspective, is that something that we should add back in on second reading, or are there reasons that we don't need those two conditions that were recommended?
Those two conditions, and in fact, the wording of them was framed as condition precedent on subdivision. They were intended to put the applicant on notice that both of those needed to be complied with before we would process a subdivision application, whether it was minor subdivision to plat off land use areas within 4 Mile Ranch, or a major subdivision to actually go and create lots for individual homes. They were going to need to complete those things. The applicant was well aware of that. They were not contesting any of that. I don't think there was any disagreement about those conditions. So the fact that Planning Commission was trying to get ahead of the curve on those, I think, was the issue. I think removing those is fine. The applicant still knows these are going to be expectations of the city when they do come forward for a subdivision application. So I don't know that it's necessary to put them back in as conditions this evening.
Many of those, I mean, engineering items in general get taken care of at the subdivision stage, and especially larger developments with master development agreements and things like that, which will be coming forward at some point in the future as well. From a staff perspective, having those removed is not a concern.
That's what I wanted to make sure we kind of put on the record, so to speak, that it's not that those conditions aren't there, they just don't need to be part of this approval tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council? Hearing none, I would then entertain a motion and a second. Who would like to do that? Amy?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I move that we approve Ordinance 1, Series of 2025, entitled An Ordinance of the City of Canyon City, approving an amendment to the 4 Mile Ranch Plan Development District.
Thank you. Second by John, thank you. Any discussions on that motion? Yes, Amy?
Thanks. I just wanted to thank City Planner Hedrick Mulready. I know I had quite a few questions and comments at our first reading, and just really appreciate the hard work and effort that went into answering those and the updates that were made to the 4 Mile Ranch Development Plan. So thank you very much.
And they made Patrick work on St. Patrick's Day. That's not
Nice
fair.
shirt, though.
Okay, where are we at here? First, we got a second. Any discussions on that motion? Would you call roll, please?
Certainly. Councilmember Dennehy?
Aye.
Maloney?
Aye.
Schmisher?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Worthington?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamrick?
Aye.
Okay, well, that concludes this. One more thing. Vision Committee meeting at 5 o'clock here. The discussion is stormwater.
Stormwater, yes,
Stormwater.
sir.
So it'll be quick when we'll storm right through it. No, all right. So thank you all for coming, and we are adjourned.